Welcome traders. It is Sunday the 22nd. I'm recording this for the week commencing Monday the 23rd of January. So we have a couple of days next week. So this is technically the second last week that we are looking at. So let's have a quick look at what's going on in terms of economic calendar scheduled news. It's actually quite a calm week. I've focused really here on for the UK. Tuesday morning right at the gate, we've got PMI numbers. We'll see how that goes. A little bit out of the US same day. We've got some Aussie CPI numbers, so interesting if we're looking at global recession or fears of global recession. On Thursday, bit of US news, bit of stuff on Friday. Friday, if it's been a very quiet week, I would expect Friday's 1:30 p.m. news to be quite big, just because the market looks for reasons to kind of entertain itself. Otherwise, this is a pretty calm week. Last week, I think it was relatively big. That doesn't mean that there won't be any volatility or surprises or spikes on the market. But right now, there's nothing that the market is obsessing over. Really, it could be a quiet, boring week in the markets, or we might just get some really nice uninterrupted trends. So having said that, let's go across to the charts and have a look at what's going on there. Okay, so we're starting off with the US dollar. All right, it's on its way. If you look at it from a monthly perspective, it really makes the most sense for it to come back down to 100. Not just because it's a round number, but also because it is the previous level where we had resistance. For it to come back and test that makes a lot of sense. Let's see if it's also a Fibonacci number. Sits close enough to the 618 and trends can still remain intact. So let's just go with that. But that looks like that would be my expected target. It's got some good support where it's sitting at now, but it's very close to 100. Might as well just follow through on that. If we have a look at, say, Euro dollar's had a bit of a pullback. I'd love for that to have come back to this. I do think we're going to run into some resistance at 1.09, but it does look like it just wants to kind of keep going. So let's just let it do that. Overall, it's not looking weak. I mean, sterling as well is also looking nice and bullish, coming up to these old highs. So I expect if they all do it, if all the stars align, then that's going to be the case. It's going to work to do that. Even Aussie dollar, US dollar set up with a bullish setup here, a continuation setup. So that's going to be good. But I think that 07 level is going to represent something. So there's a lot of signs so far. Kiwi dollar also looking really nice and bullish. These are just continuation signals. So basically, if you look at, technical analysis is getting a sense of the general flow of price, but you've also got to look at the individual granular details, such as individual candlesticks, the location of them, context where they are within the story that's unfolding. Candlestick behavior at major levels is the most important thing that we need to pay attention to above everything else. But also you can categorize candlesticks as, in a way, as almost continuation, bullish, bearish, indecision. So this, for example, is a continuation candlestick. It's very nice and bullish. Happens, close to a key level. Looks like it very much just wants to continue on and hit that level. That's a long roundabout story about what I was trying to explain there. We've got here dollar yen is putting back into this area. It's still in a downtrend. Looks like it might as well just continue down. We've got dollar Swissy really at a level of resistance, testing that for support. So bearish continuation setups there. We've got some bullish divergence there, but it's also consolidation. So in this whole area has just been consolidation. And therefore we could just get some continuation to the downside there. We've got dollar CAD, which to me looks more bearish than bullish. Let's just kind of clean this up a bit. What a mess. Let's just get rid of all of that stuff. We don't need it. It's not relevant anymore because the market hasn't really responded to it very much. Let's have a look at the dollar ruble. So dollar ruble is currently looking weaker. The dollar looks as though it's going to strengthen against it. There's some activity happening there. There should be less and less activity happening there. Russia's future is looking incredibly bleak under the management of Putin. It is not looking good. So it's going to be a tough year for them. Everybody's having a tough year. Ukrainians are having obviously a very tough year. Iranians are having a tough year. There's a lot of stuff going on. Russians citizens are about to go through it as well. Euro Swissy, very interesting. We had this was a fantastic breakout, consolidation breakout, broke above parity, came back, tested that level, nice little bullish candle. This is almost a no-brainer, and a continuation back up to parity. So the question now is it going to continue above parity? MACD, RSI are bullish. In other words, they're continuing to trend higher. It should actually, so parity is going to be the test. Let's see what happens on Monday. There might be a bit of a reaction to it, but it managed to get through it before. It's back up it again. The momentum is more bullish than bearish. So my expectation this week is that that's going to continue to cross the line. Let's move and have a look at gold. So gold, as I said, I'm just looking for that pullback. It's really bullish. Look at it from a monthly. It just surged right above these old highs. That's good. It just shows how bullish it is at this point in time. It's got some room to go up to 2,000, but it is also overdue for a pullback. So what's interesting here is that that sort of bearish divergence has gone away. We're now creating fresh highs on the MACD, fresh highs on price. You know, we had a bit of a, this where it gets interesting. We had a pullback, a move up, and immediately a bit of a stall, but it should still be able to continue on. I am at some point expecting a correction. That weekly is proper overextended. We are due for it. However, it might have just decided it wants to keep going to 2,000 and then it's going to come back and have a correction. So what does that mean from trading perspective? It means that when I'm looking, if I see a nice bullish setup on gold, I'll take it, but I'll either reduce my risk, so less than 1% per trade. I'll have my stop loss below this level because obviously that's your high or low. I'll be quick to take profits. I'll be doing stuff because I'll be more proactive in terms of securing the safety of my trade, while at the same time understanding that it could be due for a correction. Right, so I skipped by accident last week and got called out for it, so that's fine. You're welcome to call me out. I welcome it. So let's have a look. Bit of stalling here on silver, and you know, it's a consolidation. So the way that I see this is silver is resting. Okay, it's not strong enough to continue, but it's also not that weak that it needs to have a deeper correction. So we could have a consolidation breakout to the upside. Alternatively, it could break to the downside if gold does, but it doesn't look so bad. I mean, a pullback down to $22 would be great for a continuation. So I would say that if there's a sudden dollar spike, gold drops, silver drops down, then they would head down to this dollar. And that I would see that as a buying opportunity if I got bullish signals there in line with my strategy. Okay, so let's have a look at copper. Copper also really overextended, guys. They need pullbacks. Look at this, a beautiful pullback into these old highs. That would be the way to go. But look at how it's surged so far above that level. So metals are nice and bullish. Let's head into natural gas. Natural gas dropping all the way down, actually creating fresh lows. Hasn't been this low since 2020. Let's see, when was, all-time fresh lows there on the data, at least that I have. So that continues to go lower. Looks nice and bearish. I expect that to continue down. Let's look at crude oils. Crude oils are looking bullish. So this sits on my watch list. It was it's relatively clear on the weekly. It is it wants to breach that line. The reason is because this lower low is not actually super bearish. The market sort of breached the low a little bit and then started pushing back up and then produced a higher low. If you look at that, you've got a higher low there. It's hinting that the momentum is shifting bullish. You look at it from a monthly perspective, you get some really nice bullish candles here. So this looks to me like this week could be some really good trading opportunities to the upside here. Let's break through this sort of bearish line in the sand. Look for it to break above 85 would be a no-brainer. So it breaks above, retest it for support and continues up to 91, 92, quarter $92. But there might even be some opportunities between here and there. So that sits on my list firmly. Unless there's a surprise and suddenly there's a very strong rejection here, it looks like it's just breaching. It's just going upwards. Let's have a look at Brent. Brent is also very, very bullish. Okay. Occasionally you'll get a bull channel that is part of ultimately what turns out to be a bear flag. So basically how the logic would work is, ultimately if it breaks below that, that's just a continuation to the downside. But this just looks too bullish. Okay, I get that, but it just looks too bullish. Okay, wheat. Wheat's also looking bullish. I've highlighted this area, which looks to me to be a double bottom. And believe it or not, it actually looks as though it's now replicated that. So I'm just going to copy that. There's another bullish signal right there. You've got bullish divergence. There's a lot of signs here that wheat is wanting to head higher. Coffee, coming back into that level. Also still looks bullish. I mean, look at this weekly, just nice wicks there above that level. Looks as though it's finding support. It's got bullish divergence when you start to look over here on both of these indicators. Let's go in and just change this indicator just to drop it a bit. I want to magnify that, amplify the peaks and troughs. So there we go. We'll just leave it at that. Looks good. Sugar is a mess. It's really battling with this $20 level. Look at that. Just can't quite get past it. Last week's candle's a failure. So I would stay away from that just for now until it can get solidly above the level it wants to. But yeah. And this is looking more and more bullish. All right, guys, this is looking more and more bullish. Where's my little arrow? We've got a series of high lows going into this. We've got a level of resistance where we are now. So let's just kind of highlight that. So it's trying to build to a bullish breakout pattern, and MACD's not giving us anything. It looks nice and bullish here. Bigger picture looks more bullish and bearish, came back and down and sort of tested this level. That looks like it's building up pretty much to it's going to break out to the upside, pretty much. Whether it's a successful breakout or false breakout, but too soon to tell, but it looks good. So cotton looks like it's building up to a bullish breakout pattern there. And that could happen between this week and February, so almost a month. Then we have, this is Frangelico, in case anyone cares. It is Frangelico. It's delicious. I've earned it. It's my Sunday evening, and I'm having that. Okay, that's a nice bullish setup there. So on the Dow, pay attention. These, to me, strong level of support, really nice bullish candle setup. We had a correction. We needed that correction. The weekly is the worry. So the weekly is a potential lower high. If, however, this week we are bullish from this point and go on, we are pretty solid then at that time. Okay, so just highlighting, you know, I think for me, most of my attention is now going to be on the daily. That's really what I might as well watch to get that clarity. A lot of support here that it came back to this level. It's produced a bullish signal. It looks more bullish than bearish to me. If I go over to the S&P, really nice, strong bullish candle. Not sure what that's doing, but I'm going to move that down to here. It's a nice little bullish setup. I was looking for a pullback into this area to continue up. I'll take that. It's a higher low. Looks good. So most of that looks to me more bullish. Certainly, if we break above last week's high, I would see that as a continuation to the upside. And that actually means that January's candle would be nice and bullish. Nasdaq, that looks good. Nice and bullish. To me, don't know what you guys think. It's a higher low, double bottom, bullish divergence. That's a shift across to that, comes back in and tests the old highs, produces a strong bullish engulfing candle. Really nice double bottom with bullish MACD on the weekly. You know, I'm sure my data wasn't delayed before. I need to have a look at that. My data was real time. I'm not sure why that's changed. It's very odd. It might just, anyway, who knows, we'll see. High low here on the mini Russell. So the Russell's looking quite bullish. Look, you can see on the monthly, this is a big thing. So that 1900 level is big. It needs to break back up above that. And I think it'd be fair to say that that would be April last year, that if we broke above it, that would be almost a year later, give or take a couple of months, and that would be a significant shift. The FTSE has had a really nice little pullback. This is a good area for it to continue to the upside there. I also would be very happy for it to come back and test 7.6 as a level of support. I'd be very happy with that. Overall, it still looks really, really good. Again, we've got you on the DAX. We've got an inside bullish candle within the moving averages at a round number. This is also an acceptable level for it to continue onwards. So let's see how that goes. Excuse me, in fact, the pressure for it to come back and retest this level here, not as big. The ASX, looking really nice and bullish. I think it's overextended on the daily. We haven't had a pullback. A pullback into 7.3 would be great. Bullish candle, closing right near the highs. Monthly candle looks really good. It is very much charging towards that 7.5 level. So not a sign of weakness, I think it's fair to say. The Nikkei, nice level of support, bullish candles within a range. Within a range, it's now produced signals that say, look, I want to try and go back to the top of the range. So think about this. So far, every single one, the FTSE and DAX especially looking really bullish, also look like they've done a minimal pullback, looking like they're ready to keep going. The US ones look like they're keen to go. The Russell 2000 looks like it's keen to go. Now we look at the Nikkei, which is within a range, looks like it's found support. That looks like that wants to keep going. It doesn't mean they can't fail, but right now, given all the information we have, they look very bullish. So let's see how it goes. Let's go on to equities. Look at Apple. Look, for me, the big thing was I needed to see Apple get back up above this. I still want to see Apple get back up above 140, but I would highlight you, we had a pullback and a continuation. We closed really well on Friday. January's candle's looking really nice and bullish. So if we just disregard the weekly for the time being and just look at this level of band of resistance, it looks like we're managing to get back up above it, and we have bullish signs as well. Amazon, nice little pullback, bullish candle, also really nice bullish divergence on the weekly, nice strong candle on the monthly. Looks good. It's at a level, so I need to see it get back up above 100. AT&T looks bullish. Pulls right back into these old highs, produces a bullish candle. You can see that level of resistance at 1890. Now it looks like it's good to go. Keep going. ARC looking good. Really crisp pullback, bullish candle continuation. It's continuation setup. Okay. Looks okay. Looks good. Let's go through these a bit faster. Glencore, bullish continuation. Really nice. Breaking through to new highs. Really nice pullback, bullish level above resistance continuation. Monthly candle, super nice and bullish. Really good. Tesco. Okay, Tesco struggling with this level, but that monthly candle is a solid break above that major level of resistance. That is, and we're in a weekly uptrend. So it might be due for a little bit of a pullback down to test 240, but looks okay. Amex, also bullish in this area. Overall, I never really worry about these because they tend to do very well. They're relatively cash rich. But I want to see it get back up above 160.4. Berkshire Hathaway battling a little bit here at 320. Definitely battling, but we've got a higher low in place. So this week, if we could close above 324, I'd be really happy. But I'd also be very happy if we just go through to 320 and we'll see how that goes. We'll see. Coca-Cola, it's going to be similar. You can see Coca-Cola actually behavior, and this accounts for a bit of Berkshire Hathaway. This is part of what, we're seeing a bit of weakness there. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Berkshire Hathaway can have its kind of bearish periods while everyone else is doing well, so it doesn't really mean anything. But I'd like to see that get above this level at 61.45, back up towards 62 if we could, and just deal with everything else after that. BP, double top here, a bit of bearish divergence. It's struggling with that level. So let's see how that goes historically. You can see it's a major level of resistance. So that's dealing with history. There we've got ExxonMobil, also battling with a bit of a level here. But overall, looking more bullish than bearish. General Motors. General Motors gapping around a bit within a sort of a range bound at the moment. So actually, no, that looks undecided. Could even potentially head lower. So step aside on that one. JP Morgan Chase. So this one was similar to, was a Coca-Cola, where we've got a bit of a pullback within that. That monthly not looking that strong. Interesting. We're starting to see some different behaviors. Some looking quite bullish, some looking undecided, some actually looking a bit weak. Interesting. Worth just kind of commenting on that. We've got Adidas coming towards that 50 period. Moving average, it's at 150 as well. It's doing a retracement on the monthly. If its future is to head lower than where it is right now, it's going to act, I think, as a level of resistance. If we could close higher than last week, that would be a good sign. Meta is looking good. Look at that pullback right onto a level of support, heads off, closing higher. So far, for me at least, my expectation is it's going to keep pushing up towards that next level up there, 150, 153. Morgan Stanley looking nice and bullish. Can't really be stopped at this time. It's sitting right at those all-time highs. So for some of these that are sitting at all-time highs, what I want to see them is break to new highs, creating fresh highs. That is significant because, again, shouldn't be happening if the other shoe's about to drop. This looks good as well. Video nice and bullish. Pullback, bullish candle, nice bullish monthly candle. Looks good so far. It's got some good room to move up to 188, up to the old highs. We could deal with it then. So potential there. Netflix, look at that, gapping up nicely. Some fresh highs, nice little bit of an uptrend within that channel. Looking good, monthly looks good. So yeah, 375, why not? Why not? PayPal, very good. Nice little bullish candle here. Solid. I mean, it's messy. It's messy within the weekly, but it's got bullish divergence. Not super strong, but also remember, I just want to keep this downward sort of bearish momentum. Can we close? If we can close back up above last week's highs, we're just like clawing our way back in. So that could be cool. Spotify looking good. Look at that. Look at you, man. Yeah, 100, 109. Could do. I'm going to get rid of this. Forget about that. Let's just see how we perform as we get up to those highs. Spider, just been a mess here, but it is starting to break up. Look at this. Very nice little range breakouts, a retest and a bullish candle. So that should be a continuation up. most of these look more bullish than bearish. Could there be a surprise that comes out, the market takes a hit, everything closes lower? Yes. Would that have significance into February or into next week? Yes. But I'm seeing a relatively light week. Last week was a big week in the market, actually still managed to not close near the lows. It managed to finish Friday really strong in most cases. So is it reasonable this week to expect the market to continue onwards or to attempt to continue onwards? Yes, it is. FedEx. FedEx, really nice little recovery there. Nice little bullish candle, uptrend. More, it looks fine. I would expect it to attempt to keep going up. Tesla has broken back up above 125, retest of resistance as support. Bullish candle here, looks like it's going to keep going. So 140, perhaps 150. It's got lots of bands of resistance. It's also got it within its downtrend, but 150, let's see if it can push its way back up to that. Look, at this point, I think it's also fair to say that Tesla is piggybacking on, it's a rising tide lifts all boats. Let's not go and say, oh, it's special. I mean, right now it's scraping the bottom just like everyone else. So it's not special. We've got Vanguard as well, slightly higher low, bullish candle here. Yeah, why not push back up to these highs here at 370 and see how it goes. Let's have a look at bonds. Bonds. They still want that uptrend, but they're struggling a bit with these levels here. So it's broken through resistance. We'll have to see how Monday goes. So that's for the 10-year, for the US 10-year. EURUSD, which took a real hit recently, is still trying to turn around. It's still bullish. I like that look. I think this week, if we could close higher, we're doing relatively well. These are sort of more range bound and their future's a little bit more difficult to predict, but they look bullish, like 55% bullish, 45% bearish. Cryptos, guys, cryptos, good one. I was looking for a pullback. We got minimal effort from you there, minimal pullback and a break of resistance and it continued higher. And that is, of course, because we're so low down on the on this, and we might, we'll have to see whether we see Bitcoin this low again at some point, but it's looking good. That monthly candle looking really nice and bullish. This week, looking to see if that's going to climb to the upside. But potential. Ethereum looks good as well. They got resistance where they are, so they've got to get through that. But it's fair and reasonable to say, because as we know, as I've demonstrated over the last couple of years, they are correlated and integrated into equities, and especially tech stocks, and therefore, if tech stocks can climb, so can they. All right. Solana also had a good week. Look at a bit of a recovery there from going through a bit of a coma. We've got Cardano, also had a good week. Bit of a tough one for Cardano. It's got to get back up above that level of support. We've got Binance, which is range bound, but looking more bullish than bearish. That's really good. And then we've just got another little nondescript little stock that continues to head lower. If you know, you know. There's no value here at all. Okay, so let's sum up. Again, there are hints of happy, stable bullishness here. That doesn't mean I increase my risk, doesn't mean I don't trade with a stop loss. It's as per normal. The only thing I do now is know which direction I'm looking to trade in. Keep an eye on for any unexpected news that's coming in. There's no FOMC, there's no rate hikes or anything that the market is incredibly nervous about. Everything seems to be a bit more glasses half full than glasses half empty. Any questions, any comments, any criticisms, go for it. Stick it in the comment section below and I'll get to it. Thank you very much, and listen, have a great week.